Egan is present. Hughes. Here. Beasley Grove.
Here.
Batchelder.
Here.
Money.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
7 present, none absent, Mr. President.
Well, we're going to hear first of all from the good news from Ms. Shepherdson.
All right, good news from Rose City Schools. Christmas Around the World Family Night. Everyone had a wonderful time at our annual Christmas Around the World Family Night on Wednesday, December 11th. The students and their parents visited the classrooms where each teacher had an activity from a different country for them to do. There were poinsettias from Mexico, reindeer dust from Scandinavia, stars from Poland, and much, much more. The students were able to visit Santa and have their picture taken with him. Cookies were decorated and dinner was served. A very merry time was had by all. Sirline Elementary School's Christmas Family Night will be held December 19th from 6 to 7:30. The fun event will include the following holiday activities: cookie decorating, snowflake making, face painting, and Santa. Students from kindergarten and first grade will be singing on stage. Come join us for some holiday fun. Sirline Middle School. The Robo Patriots had a great time at the Lego League competition on Saturday, December 7th in Traverse City. They did well on their research presentation and teamwork. The team received many compliments from the judges. Our robot had a few glitches, but overall did very well. 2 of the Lego League core values are, what we learn is more important than what we win, and we have fun. Both of those were definitely accomplished on Saturday. Good news from Ogama Heights. Of the 22 students who completed the healthcare provider class last year, the nurse aid training program, at least 7 are employed by local nursing homes. Most are also enrolled in college. The nurse aid training program received no deficiencies during the on-site review survey conducted by the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs by the state of Michigan and has been given approval for an additional 2 years. Good news from athletics for this month. Senior Taylor Tibbetts competed at Division III state swimming finals on Friday and Saturday, November 22nd and November 23rd. Taylor finished 9th in the 100 butterfly and 20th in the 200 IM, capping a stellar high school career in which she qualified for states all 4 years. Congratulations to Taylor. Congratulations also to our boys bowling team. They took first place at the first Big North Conference bowling meet. This win is the first conference championship Ogama Heights has won in the Big North. Congratulations also goes out to Christian Solinsky and Kyle Aury, first team Big North Conference bowlers.
Thank you. Last year, Big North Championship. We've been competing, though. We've been competing. Okay. Community and public comment. If you'd like to address the board, please state your name, city of residence, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Would anyone like to address the board? Yes, sir.
Okay. We've been collecting information on, this is Philip Arnold out of West Branch. We've been collecting information on the security cameras and stuff. And a friend of mine who's a security expert says that he turned around and you can get them at Menards for $499. That's the DVR or the DVD player and 8 cameras. And he says, and anybody should be able to hook them up, like your building maintenance, your computer tech, whatever, you know, whatever you want to assign them to. And they should be able to do that. There's no problem, because you got existing cables that they could run them off of. Okay, and it's a conflict of interest law that we were discussing there for the last couple months. And we did a lot of homework on it and stuff. And there's been people that on the board that has broke it. And that's Mr. Egan, Mr. Money. But other than that, we found out that it is the school's lawyer that was supposed to tell all you guys and women that this is a new law and that you guys had to live by it. And since, I don't know if he told you at the August meeting, because he was here, August 18th, so he should have probably told all of yous. I don't know, maybe you didn't understand him, maybe you ignored him, maybe he didn't tell you. Because for I understand, he's getting disbarred right now. Yeah. So,
show him.
or under scrutiny anyhow. That's what I've heard from other lawyers on this subject. And now that you have assistant district attorney and another lawyer, if he had told you, you should have turned around and they should have reminded you if they had told you, because you're people of the court. I mean, it's basically the district attorney's job, because he's to enforce the law, where he's just a lawyer. You know, I'm not meaning in any nasty way, but, you know, this is just the way it's supposed to be. And on Section 7,
No, true.
on Section 7, they actually go right into the meaning of conflict of interest. So, but other than that, it was your lawyer's responsibility to inform you people on the conflict of interest law. That was put in effect.
Sorry, I'm just keeping time.
Yeah, I know. You were gonna yell at me.
Okay, show him, but you need to show him
And
that.
if you want,
Can you leave this so we can look at it?
No, we're not gonna leave it because it's mine. You can look at it, pass it
sit
around.
down. You can look at it, and I want it back by the end of the meeting, that's all.
Okay.
Section 2,
Yeah.
states right in there.
Okay, we're done.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address the board? Okay,
Go for it.
thank you. We'll move to the reports, information, and discussion. Do we have any board correspondence from anyone?
Board correspondence? Yes. I got a thank you note from Mrs. Marshall for the birthday certificate. Congratulations, and it seemed like you enjoyed it, so. You said you enjoyed it.
Okay, next is Kirtland Foundation donation for the Friends of Rachel project at, is this Rose City Schools?
Rose City Schools.
And this is Ms. Burdan?
Yes,
Okay.
you pronounced it right. That rarely happens. My name is Shanda Burdan, and I am a private practice counselor in the Ogama County area. I have experience working with young children, teenagers, families, and myself and Mrs. Newbecker and Mrs. Rutherford wrote a grant and secured funds for the Rose City School to further the momentum of Rachel's Challenge within the school for the K through 6 children. So I wanted to share a little bit about what that's going to look like and how we're going to implement that within the school. We received $2,500 for the grant and are really excited as far as keeping the momentum going. Typically, well, the foundation that you've laid so far is the motivation of the students. So now from that point on, it's continuing the momentum through teaching them and giving them tools to make acts of kindness more of a second nature to them. So as far as the grant goes, my services will look like coming into the schools on Mondays and Wednesdays for about 45 minutes to an hour and targeting all the students in the school. I'll meet with them during the teacher's PLC time and the students' PBIS time, and they'll look like little mini workshops or mini assemblies with children ages K through 2 on one of the days, and then 3 through 6 on a different day on Wednesdays, or however it looks. But anyways, I'll target about 20 to 25 students per the time that I'm there, and do just high energy activities.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm done. That was
I
good.
know. I don't know why I was
I
running.
know. All right then. I have a curriculum that was purchased for both West Branch and Rose City Schools. That's the kindness and compassion curriculum that I'm going to pull activities from. And then also the curriculum that I know the schools had looked at and implemented some of the safe and caring schools. So I see my job as making these mini assemblies or workshops exciting and entertaining to get the buy-in. I've had 5 children go through the Rose City Schools, and well, 3 currently in the school and 2 that have went through it. So I'm really familiar with the children at the school, and then have experience. I was a social worker for Head Start for about 15 years, so I know a lot of the families, and I'm familiar with them. We're going to focus on, in the grant, the focus was the 5 main challenges that you see all over in all of the schools, but there's really 5 more intricate challenges that aren't always mentioned on the list. It's influence, the power of positive and negative influences, goal setting, the importance of dreaming big, journaling, the power and impact of writing goals, thoughts, and emotions, acceptance, understanding, inclusion, respect, compassion, and kindness. So those are 5 of the key goals that in the time that I'm with the children that I'll focus on with them. And really, again, it's just to keep the momentum going. And as all of you know, it's all about keeping the momentum going. And then for this program specifically, it's just changing the culture to one of kindness and caring. And I see lots of the different, obviously here, and haven't been in Sirline, but in Rose City, a lot of the things that keep it in the forefront of their mind, with the sticky notes, with the billboards, with the chains in the classrooms. Those are all the things that are key to keeping the momentum.
Shanda, you've seen positive results though from this Rachel's Challenge program?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was part of the Hale School's second phase of Rachel Challenge. So as far as, it might not be the right terminology, but I think West Branch Rose City is in the first year of it. Hale is in the second year. I was able to volunteer at their second high school assembly where it was individualized. And I can honestly say that that probably was one of the most meaningful days probably of my life. And I seen change in kids, and it was just one of those days that I probably smiled for 3 days because I know the impact that it had on the kids. So I'm hoping that you're able to do that at Ogama Heights, because that was, I wasn't able to see the program last year. I think it was If You Knew Me, but I think it was probably similar to that and very impactful. So I have to say, as far as K through 6 and the research I've done, there's not a lot of material other than this as far as implementing it.
Is that from the Rachel's Challenge book, the cover looked familiar?
Right, yes, this
Okay.
is, yeah. So there's not a lot of direction though as far as, this is more curriculum stuff, and I want to do a little bit more high energy. That was the key at Hale. It was like this high energy fun stuff, and then we sat down in these groups for like 10 minutes and they all bared their souls, and just, then we got back up into this high energy stuff and intermingled, and adult to kid and kid to kid. So yes, I have seen it.
And we do appreciate the financial support. And I know when we started Rachel's Challenge, this board and the administrators were all saying, this is not something we're going to do this, have this assembly and get all excited for 2 days and then it go away. This is going to have to be something that we constantly work on throughout the year and continue on to make it work. And we do appreciate your financial assistance.
Mine was just one of grant writing. Just help write the grant. That was a big help.
That was a big help.
I know it.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Burdett.
Sure.
Okay, next we have the 2013-2014 budget amendment number 1 from Ms. Niles, maybe.
All right, I'm gonna start off first by giving you guys the financial statements. Finance Committee had seen these last week at the finance meeting. This just gives you a description of all the adjustments per line.
I'll ask him later.
Sorry, Dan.
Just when
I know it's
everybody's
not
done,
right.
I'll
I
ask them.
apologize for that, just for,
If they'd be interested.
split, no,
in
punch
looking
on
into it.
one page.
Is this the
And I'll
exact
talk to
same as I
Dan,
got last
because I
week?
want Dan, I wanna talk to Dan about getting, school bylaws, all of them.
Oh, Dan, Klein? Yeah, you can get them off. We have, yeah.
Okay, so this is just like what we've
Not
had in
from
the
that
past.
meeting.
I'm gonna move this down a little bit, but I'm gonna make it larger so the rest of you guys can see this. What we're gonna touch on is we're gonna look at the revenues first. Just kind of look at each category of the revenue, the adjustment amount, and then what our revised budget is. And then we'll go into a description on why each one of them is adjusting. So the first one, we're looking at local revenue. We're increasing this by $171,000. It's gonna give us a revised budget of $6,673,000. And this is due to the tax adjustments by the county treasurer. So this is where it's reflecting at. The state, you'll see, is the largest one. It went up by $1,066,000, giving us a revised budget of $10,985,000. With that, that's where our MIPSR's $500,000 offset is coming into play. Last year, we knew that we were gonna have the $199,000. We weren't sure if it was gonna carry over to this year. So this is where it's reflecting. We also received a little over $100,000 for a foundation equity increase per pupil. It's a new categorical fund for our state aid payment. And then our discretionary funds did increase with our state aid payment over $400,000. Moving down to the federal revenue, this we have seen a decrease of $96,692. That gives us a revised budget of $1.2 million. And that was due to our basic federal funds that were decreased. This is where like our title funds, at-risk funds, those are categorized, all of our title is under federal. Incoming transfers and other transactions have decreased by $66,000. That's given us a revised budget of $92,000, and this was due to the decrease of the transfers in that we normally receive through core. When I originally budgeted, I expected to, going based on our trends for the last 3 years, be a little bit higher. That came in slightly lower. So overall, our total revenue went up by $1,075,000, giving us total revenue of $19,019,000. Adding that to our audited fund balance from July of $1,154,000 gives us a total available funds of $20,173,000. Do you guys have any questions on this, on the revenue piece?
I want to go back to the incoming transfers from core. Do we know why we had a $66,000 drop?
That was some of our special ed funding that had decreased. Last year we had a substantial amount that we received, but now that we didn't have that millage that passed, you know, our funding is dropping slightly. So that's why part of it is that we decreased.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Siobhan, and well, you forgot to, part of that is from food service too. So
Right,
that
I'm
is
sorry.
all from
Yep,
core.
Right, it's not all from core, because we also, core was just a small amount, it wasn't a large amount of a difference. This year, we're gonna have less money coming in from indirect costs. There's been a big push on recategorizing what we can capture from food service when we do the transfer. So our transfer has dropped
Action on
slightly from
agenda
that. It's
items
normally right
only.
around 50,000, and it's now right around 37,000.
You gotta ask him that after
So
the
that was
meeting.
another piece. Thanks. Any other questions on the revenue? All right. Moving on down to our expenditures. Our basic programs, the cost have increased slightly by $70,135, giving us a revised budget of $7,857,000. And this was due to a reclassification of our instructional cost. So we have, as you can see right here, is $70,000 increase right down here. So these two, just reclassification. Added needs. We increased by $241,000 and it gives us a budget of $3,016,000. This was due to the increased funds that we have for IDA and also for our at-risk. So if you receive more revenue, obviously our expenditures are going to go up. So that's where this piece is reflecting. That's where all of our IDA funds are being charged to. Pupil support services have decreased by $10,625. That was the movement of Sue Shepardson with her benefits associated with her cost. That was a decrease there. Again, the $75,000 is related to the $70,000 right up here with the reclassification and a small amount of Sue's expenditures were charged to that when she was an instructional teacher. General administration, that gone up slightly by $8,300, so we're looking at a revised budget of $315,000. And this was due to, there was a few different things. The retirement cost have gone up, and I think I had emailed all of you guys when we were looking at the averages, and now with that MIPSR UAL, it had gone up almost 3%, so that's where you're seeing these slight reflections coming through. School administration, again, they went up by $2,600, so you're looking at a total expenditure cost of $920,000. Business services had decreased by $5,052. The total cost is $315,000. This had decreased because the original amount of interest that I had charged for the state aid loan was actually a little bit less than what I had anticipated. Operations and maintenance had gone up by $70,660, and this was because the retirement, some of the wages are higher at the high school because of one of the aides, the office aides, where she's working at, and some of our workers' comp claims are coming through here. Transportation, this has gone up by $68,000. It's now a total of $1.3 million for our total revised budget. And again, this was due to some of the drivers' wages were slightly higher, the retirement was higher, and the health insurance costs were a little bit higher than what we had anticipated. Technology had gone up by $31,000, and this was due to the reclassification of that grant we received last year. We received $21,000 last year for it, but we didn't spend it, so we're spending it this year. We had already received the revenue, so you're looking at $468,000. Athletics had gone down just a little bit by $2,200, and this is due to the coaches' changes. Some of the coaches that were at the higher pay scale, now they have moved positions or they have resigned, so now we have some new coaches that come in at step one. So we have some decreases there. You're looking at a total of $329,000.
I'm not sure, but.
Community service had gone up by $8,500, and again, that is due to our retirement increases. Outgoing transfers, other transactions had increased by $26,000, and this is due to our recording of our Title I and Title II transfers. This is where we have to record it. We have money that's going from Title II into Title I. It's a brand new concept per se that we're doing this year to help offset some of the cost in the Title I program, and this has been approved by MDE. So this is where it's reflecting at. So you're looking at a net change of $435,000 for a revised budget of $18,122,000. So the difference between our revenues, our expenditures, adding in our fund balance, you're looking at a projected fund balance now of $2,050,870. That is our current fund balance. That does bring us up to our 10% mark, just so you guys do know. So we are getting there, but we still have a ways to go. So looking at our new GASB requirements here, we're looking at non-spendable fund balance, $821,000. Again, our committed fund balance, we're not changing that. We're looking at $800,000. Our assigned fund balance, $75,000. Unassigned fund balance, $354,000. So you have the bottom line here of the $2,050,000 that matches our total fund balance. Any questions on these? And again, you guys have all the details too for each line of what composes of each of these. That's what's on the chicken scratch on here.
Okay, hold on, Siobhan.
Yes.
So the unassigned,
Yep.
why do I have 404,044?
That's what I have.
404,044.
For the
You
leftover.
should have the 354.
That's what's on this too.
Is that what you guys have in front of you?
This
Yeah.
is what, I'm reading the one from the finance meeting last.
Right,
And
remember I
wrote the
corrected
ones you
those.
just gave me.
It's the one you just gave me.
Did I?
Yep, me too. 404044.
You told me they were the same, that's
No,
why
no,
I did
and they
that.
should be, because as you can see, we had a $50,000, should be the 354. Can I see that one?
Sure. Where's my finger?
Okay, well, this is what you're adopting, is this form here. This is from the finance meeting, this is where we had made the
I know, but
change.
you,
Because if you look at your non-spendable,
but I'm,
and you guys, I believe, do have
it's
this.
okay if this changed from last week, because I
Right.
didn't ask you that,
Well,
but you,
that screen
This is-
isn't the same as this one.
Well, in your packets, you guys should have this budget amendment. I believe, did you have that or no?
No, that wasn't, didn't get in here.
Oh, it didn't? I thought it did. Yeah,
This green part?
No, it's, we're voting on it, so it's in
Yeah,
here.
it's what you're, yeah, you're voting on this. There you go, right there.
I don't know what page it is.
Turn the page the right way.
There you go, there. And this is what you guys are voting on tonight? Can you see
Okay.
the 354?
Yep.
Right down there. You guys all have it?
it's on,
Did you
Somebody
find it?
has it.
it's on page,
It's right down here,
it's not numbered.
354.
It's page 2 of the, budget stuff. No, it's not.
Buried in the fold.
I don't think
No.
it's page 44.
The page numbers didn't,
All that do is get them in trouble.
on some pages they did.
Yeah, see, that's, she's missed some pages here. Because the non-spendable. That's 800.
No, 800 is 7. Hold on.
That lady back there.
And that's what you guys are voting on.
Non-spendable here is, okay, 21.
Can you?
But what they're voting on is
You
all
have two, that's your bottom
What?
line.
You guys have it?
I
I
know.
see where the,
Just the whole part.
you got the non-spendable
That's where
at
the
771 instead of 821.
And this is, yeah.
There's 50,000 there, and that
Yep.
makes the 50,000 on the other one,
Yep,
okay?
and this is what you guys are voting on, and that's exactly
So
what.
this is the way we're gonna allocate it, right?
Yep. This is just a descriptor page, so you guys kind of see.
But
Wait, you want to tape the whole meeting?
we got the finance meeting last week.
Right, and remember when I was on the phone with you guys, I said that was gonna, that bottom line was changing, so we can match the 2,050,000 to the fund balance. See?
So the
Look down there.
2,5870, is that number on here anywhere? Is that 2,000,000, the 2,050,870?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's all
See,
down.
just
It's the same.
Non-spendable, we're up 50,000, and unassigned, we're down
Yep.
50,000.
Yep, but what you guys have in your books and what you're voting on is
Okay.
identical to this.
is far away from the tender, and I was putting my top in the back hand truck, and I stepped down.
So are there any questions on the expenditure pieces? Okay, looking on to the food service account, the food service fund. Our adjustments, again, we're gonna do the same thing. Excuse me. The local revenue had gone up slightly by $8,400, and that gives us a revised budget of $293,000. And that was due to a slight increase in à la carte sales in comparison to the prior year.
Oh,
The state revenue had gone up $790, giving us a revised budget of $65,790. And this was a state school lunch revenue, went up, it was slightly higher than what we anticipated. Federal revenue had gone up by $44,878. We were very happy to see this. That gives us a revised budget of $875,000. And this is where that extra 6 cents comes into play, that we applied for. We had received the additional grant for that. And then just, our federal reimbursement had gone up slightly. Our incoming transfers had gone down a little bit by $270. Gives us a revised budget of $10,730. And this is based on our at-risk student population. We reimburse out of the general fund into the food service fund, depending on the number of kids that are identified within the grant, so it's gone down slightly. Obviously, with the enrollment drops, this is gonna drop a little bit too. Total revenue, we had an increase of $53,891. It gives us a total revenue of $1,244,000. Adding to our audited fund balance of $121,571 gives us total available funds of $1,366,000. Any questions on the revenue piece? Yes.
What's our bottom line here, the total available funds?
This is the total revenue
Okay.
of $1,366,000. You aren't gonna see that on there, Mike. 'Cause it's
Okay,
gonna look a
I'm
little bit
gonna
different.
see 1,236,222 somewhere.
That's gonna be our expenditures. We're gonna come down to that in just 1 second.
Oh, this is just revenue.
Yeah, that's just the revenue piece.
1,244,933.
Correct, that's right there.
Oh, here she didn't have the fund balance to this item, that's why I don't have that figure.
Okay, and you did. Okay,
We're good?
yeah, I don't know where the fund balance, the fund balance is way down at the
We're
bottom.
gonna come down to the app at
Got
the
it,
very bottom,
okay,
the bottom line.
all right.
Okay, our expenditures, looking at the food service activities, that's gone up by $36,521. So that was due to our food cost, they're slightly higher, so our revised budget is $1,201,000. Capital outlay, we decreased that by $1,500. After meeting with Janice, looking kind of what their big ticket needs are this year, we were able to reduce that down, giving us a revised budget of $500 just for an emergency that may come up. Outgoing transfers, we decreased that by $22,750, and this is where I was talking about the indirect and capturing that cost with the general fund. This is the transfers between the two of them. So now we have a revised budget of $34,000 on that. So overall, our expenditures increased by $12,271, giving us a revised budget of $1,236,000. So again, the revenues plus the fund balance less the expenditures gives us a fund balance of $130,282. And again, this is, this last column here is our updated amount with our non-spendable of $60,282, committed fund balance of $50,000, unassigned fund balance of $20,000, giving us a total of $130,282. So the food service count does overall look better than what we originally anticipated. And as you guys know, we start the year out looking at a lesser amount than what comes in from the state, because that's when we get our adjustments in the beginning of the year, usually October, November. So what we had anticipated, we will see through our revenues are looking a lot better.
And
The food service fund.
what we said on Monday was, the last week, is the adjustments in the local revenue and the food costs. I think a good share of that can be attributed to the fact that our participation is better than what we expected with all the changes in the menu, I guess I want to say, that the federal government was requiring, and so
Right,
that's one of the things that make this look better too.
Right, we were expecting a worst case of what was gonna happen with the new menu changes, like it stated, and it actually turned out much better than what we expected.
And we also brought up here, just for the rest of the board, with this end of the year, 130,000 plus in fund equity, that includes the money that we're able to take out for paying some of the parapros at lunchtime,
The lunch aids,
correct?
correct.
The lunch
I
aids.
did include that in there, the same lunch aids that were being paid last
And
year
so,
are being paid again this year.
so we were looking at not being able to possibly do that,
The following year, in 14-15 is when we were possibly looking at it.
right? And now we're looking at 130,000 fund equity as opposed to the 19,000
Right.
originally we had thought.
Because they run us right around $65,000, looking at their total salaries, all the retirement, the FICA, all the benefits, insurance and everything. And
Right.
that's why we were looking at the following year not being able to do it.
And I'm feeling good that we may be able to do that the following year, and.
It's gonna cut our fund balance down it'll cut it in half, basically.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
but
saying, but,
we were looking at going into with a $19,000 fund equity.
Right.
So,
So that's taking us from a 1.5% fund equity up to a 10, so that's.
we're getting there.
That's where we're supposed to be,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's the ideal area. you know, for our auditors is at 10%. So we're slowly getting there. We still got a ways to go though. Any other questions?
It's nice to see something move in that direction.
Yes,
been
ship
a
is
while.
turning around. I don't have bad news this time.
Oh, you're done with that one?
Unless you guys have any questions about this.
Everybody's all set? Now you're gonna do the best practices resolution?
Yes, the best practices, what we're looking at is we are gonna meet 7 out of the 8 requirements. We're looking at additional $107,000 that we're gonna bring into the district. Again, a positive. The ones that we are meeting are the holding a policy on medical benefit plans, obtaining a competitive bid for the 13-14 school year for non-instructional services, and we're doing that with the food service bid that we're going through. 3, accept applications for enrollment of non-resident pupils. 4, we're not meeting. This is the only one we don't meet, is monitor individual pupil academic growth in each subject area at least twice during the school fiscal year using competency-based online assessments. That's the only one we don't meet. The 5th one we do, support opportunities for pupils to receive post-secondary credit while attending secondary school. Number 6, we meet, offer online courses or blended learning opportunities to all eligible pupils and publish course syllabi. 7th one, we also meet, provide to parents and community members a dashboard report card with required financial information on the website. I have the information ready. Deborah and I have kind of talked about this a little bit. We're going to get that up once we can get our schedules together on this. And it's a lot of it's already out there under our budget transparency and under the my school data link that's already on our website. The only thing I really need to put out there is our 14-15 updated budget forecast. That's the only thing that really needs to go out there. And then number 8, provide physical education or health education. So we do meet this, and I have built it. I put it in this budget amendment, but for next year I did not put it in our forecasted budget amendment because I don't know if we'll need them next year. We
This is
don't
my
know what
first
they are.
question, is it already in here?
It is in this one, yes.
Oh, I'm glad it's there, but I was hoping it wasn't.
Well, it's in the revised one, right? Because you
It's
didn't-
in this revised, the
right,
amendment.
you didn't start us off.
No, I
with
did
it.
not start us with
Right,
it, no.
which we'd asked not to.
Correct. Correct.
What is the difference of meeting 7 instead of 8? Is there a monetary difference? If
No,
we
you
say
just-
we met all 8?
No.
Okay. And Lori, do you know if we're going to be able to meet 8 now that we're going to start all this online testing?
The plan right now is to move the NWA testing to 11th grade next year, but we're testing in ELA and math, not in science and social studies at this point. But I do think,
No, please don't.
the other part of that is having a plan in place in order to have the technology that we can do that testing, and we are moving in that direction with the trade grants that they talked about and what we're doing with the Chromebooks and those types of things. So we're doing the pilot testing for ELA and math at kindergarten through 2nd. We did science and social studies in 3 and 4. So it's a time factor. It's not just a technology factor of taking that time in order to administer all of those assessments at every grade level as pre and post. But as part of the evaluation system, that's the direction that we're going.
The problem with that one, it says all subjects at every grade. Every time it says all, I mean, it doesn't say in the core, it doesn't say, you know, math and language arts, it says all subjects. So that means, just what it says, all subjects, every grade.
All means all.
Right, and so I'm not sure how, if we would ever meet that necessarily, when you talk about.
Are there even the tests out there for some of the CTE programs, some of the art, the music,
Phys ed.
I mean, are there even tests out there that could do that?
There are plans in the works to do some of that, but no, they're not available.
But do you want to, I mean.
Well, no, I'm not saying we want to do that, but I mean, they put a requirement in there that who in the state can meet that one?
The
I mean,
other part of that, you can either have that plan in place or be submitting a plan that you're working toward that. we use the MDE assessments, but that whole assessment piece is all up in the air right now again.
No, we don't need it to get the money, so I guess that's okay.
Right. Any other questions on that?
I guess maybe just a comment on that, is last year, in order to meet the requirement on PE and health, it was an extraordinary amount of hours that we had to have at every grade level. So perhaps they'll get feedback that says we cannot test every subject twice a year, and maybe there'll be some more realistic expectations for that testing for next year.
Laura is right, they relaxed the phys ed component.
I knew the phys ed one was insanely difficult to reach last year. I mean, we would have had to hire several more teachers just to meet that requirement. And
Last year, did the state take the best practices money away?
No.
No, they kept it there?
Well, it was only a one-time. The year before was only a one-time.
Yeah, the year before we received it, wasn't it last year we did not?
Last year we didn't qualify.
Right, we didn't qualify last year. I mean, it was still available out there, but we didn't meet enough of the requirements, because I believe
I
last year.
thought I'd read somewhere where they'd taken it away.
They've been threatening to take it away.
Or maybe I
And
just
that's
read
why I
they
don't
threatened to
build
take
it
it
in
away.
future budgets, because I don't know if they're, next year they're gonna take it, but once you receive it, it's yours.
Okay.
So we'll start, after you guys adopt this, we'll probably start receiving it in, I believe, January is when we should receive it, because we'll have enough time to be able to get the resolution up to the state. So we should be able
This
to
is
do
the
that
third,
threshold.
this is the third year they've offered it.
Yep.
In year one, we qualified. Last year, we did not.
Correct.
This year, we did.
Well, they based the numbers on our last count or the February count or the blended count?
The blended count, by your state aid membership. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Okay, now we have our virtual school update from Mr. Good.
Thank you. Okay. As you are aware, there is some new legislation that takes effect beginning this second semester, this coming semester. And what I wanted you to do is just have an idea of where we are at and then show you the groundwork that we have for moving forward to accommodate this new legislation. So for starters, this is where we're at this semester. We have 3 areas that kids can take online classes. The first one is as a supplement to their normal schedule. That's by either taking 1 or 2 classes online. And as you see there, we have 30 classes that are being taken in that method. We have 7 students who are taking 2 classes and 16 who are taking 1 class online. And 3 of those are dual enrollment through Kirtland. But all 30 of those classes are online. And so the kids take them throughout the day as one of their 5 or 6 classes, and they take them either in the computer area by the guidance office or in the library here on one of the computers here. So the second way that students can take online classes is full-time online. And you'll recall we applied for a seat time waiver earlier this fall that allowed us to do that, to count students as full-time by going to the OEI Michigan Works campus. And so throughout the course of this semester, we've had 16 students who have been enrolled there. And most of them have been full-time. There has been a couple that are finishing, graduating, so they only needed a credit or 2. But most of those 16 have been full-time. Then the third way is credit recovery. We have 25 students who have been working on that with Ms. Krasminski after school. So that's in addition to their normal 6 periods, and they are playing catch-up, recovering credit on Edgenuity.
And this is not the same, this is not the summer program that we ran this summer. This is something we're doing
in addition to that.
Some, from September on now?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay, so that's the status of our online programming now. The new legislation is commonly referred to as 21F, and we have some ideas down here on the paper in front of you as kind of our guidelines as to what we want it to look like. And Mrs. Davidson and Mrs. Krasminski, our online teachers, our mentor teachers, sat down with the counselors recently and expanded on these and developed these in more detail to lay the groundwork with what we want our expectations, because moving forward next semester, the legislation says that all students can take up to 2 classes online upon demand, upon request. And so we've tried to develop a framework, and that's why I'm going to invite Mrs. Davidson to address the work that she did just recently.
This is a copy of our online learning center readiness resource on the front page, which has some information for students to work on with their parents. It came directly out of the Parent Guide to Online Learning, which is published by Michigan Virtual. So we took that information and put it on here in a nice format that students are directed to take home and consult with their parents. It's really just an easy set of questions that ask students and parents to reflect on the skills and assets that their students bring to the classroom and if those transfer to the online learning environment. What we know is that not all students, even great students, are great online students. The skills are different. And so you can just see that those are kinds of the questions that are being asked. Our idea is that we would like for students and parents to do this before they actually come in and enroll in their 2 classes to give them a good idea on if they will prove successful. On the other side, this is where you see the policies and procedures of the Online Learning Center. The policy part is a little light. There are a lot of things that we cannot, by legislation, regulate. The way that the state has written it, it gives a lot of the power to the students and the parents and not the school district. There are